I would like to show you how you can visually design emails for Breakdance forms and for WooCommerce using the Breakdance page builder. So we've got two new plugins from Fox Elements. The first one is for your forms, so we'll go over that one now and then we'll go over WooCommerce. So once you've got the forms plugin installed, under Breakdance you will find email templates, and if you click that it will bring you to this page. Here you can create as many email templates as you want, and you can see you can edit them in Breakdance, you can preview them, and you can send a test email as well. I'm just going to click preview on that, and this is all I've got so far for this email. So let's open it up and we're just going to add some text to it. So I'm opening that, what I've already done in Breakdance, and you can see I've got an image, I've got a button, I've put the button in a div so I can center it. You shouldn't rely on Flexbox for emails using these standard functions here. You put everything in divs if you want to center it, because what you'll find is emails strip a lot of things out and it might not look the same. So you might have to do a little bit of experimentation, but I've found that if you use divs it works quite well. The other thing worth noting is don't rely on global colors, because the emails will not pick up the global colors. So if you want a button to be purple, come into your button and set it as the color. Don't use these down here. If you want to use this, click it, but then click again here, just so that you have selected a hex code. The same with font sizes and fonts and stuff like that. Make sure you choose everything specifically. Right, let's add some text. We'll just add some text in here and keep it simple. So what you can do here is, as well, is you can use the fields that you have from your email. So let's just say, thanks for subscribing. And then we're going to put in here name like this. And that is going to come from the form. So if I just go over to a form here. In this form, we've got name, email, message. And if you open any of these up under advanced, you will see the field ID. And this one is name by default. This is email and message by default. But if you create custom ones, so if I just create a text one here and you go in, it will be some random letters. And you can customize that, but you don't have to. But what you need to do is, if you want to use that field in your design, you need to copy that ID and put it in the squiggly brackets like I have here. So I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to go back and we're going to preview it, but it's not going to show that name. In fact, it shows you a default in the preview, so you can see that it's worked. So we have got some dummy data in here, I forgot about that. And you can see that's worked, and you can see that we didn't have a font set, so it's stuck to this default font. So let's go and set a font just to make it look a bit nicer. And this is the other thing with emails. Some fonts will work, some fonts will not. And if they don't, it will go back to a web safe font. But some Google fonts will work. So let's put that as Poppins and go back and preview this again. And there it is now, looking a bit nicer. So now what I've got to do is I've got to attach this to my form. So let's go back to my form. Click here. We'll just get rid of that field that we created there. Now by default, under the actions, you will have store submission and email. We want to get rid of the email one because we're going to use the visual one. So click to get rid of that. You can keep it, but you'll end up with two emails if you leave it there. And we're going to choose this new one that's now here called visual email. And once I've ticked that, I can now come down and open this up. And this works exactly the same way as the email, but you've got an email template drop down, and this will show you all the templates that you have created under your email template section. So we're going to use that one, and then all of this is the same. We'll just leave that. And that's it. Then I click save. Now when anybody submits this message, the message that goes to, in this case, the admin, will look like this instead. But of course you can create multiple ones of these. So if I click to open email again, I've got one here, but I can add another one. So I might use a different template if I want to send an email to the customer to say thank you for subscribing, or whatever it happens to be. And it might be a different one that you use to send to the website's admin. But that's how you create visual emails and attach them to a Breakdance form. And even though we've got this preview, I do recommend using the test and testing your form to make sure that the email comes through how you want it. And obviously there's only certain things you can add to these. A lot of elements you won't be able to add. Just keep it simple with, you know, images, text, buttons and all that kind of stuff. Don't use SVGs, use PNGs. And if you do want some really fancy fonts, I would suggest converting them to the image and uploading them as an image rather than trying to get it to work with the fancier fonts, which may not come through. So that is the visual email builder for the forms. And what else we can do is the WooCommerce one. So this is a separate plugin, but once that's installed, you've got WooCommerce emails under Breakdance. It looks very similar. But here we can create a template for each type of our WooCommerce emails. Now, if we don't create one, it will just default to the WooCommerce one. So you don't have to create them for all of them if you don't want to. Here I've created one for refund and the customer process and order. Now, when you click into these, you can give it whatever your name you want. And here is where you choose which of the templates you wish to apply it for. So here we've got it for the customer process and order, and you'll see that it warns you if you've already got one. If you do happen to set two templates to the same thing, it will complain about it, but it will still work, but it will just choose the last one that you created. And we're going to edit this in Breakdance in the same way. But what you'll see down here is we have got some similar things to like what we had in the visual one, but these are shortcodes to display certain information from WooCommerce. But there is also an element for that. So if I just click edit on this, okay, you'll see I have one set up here, and I've got a load of stuff in here, and let's just get rid of that one and that. And if I go over to add, under right at the bottom you'll find WooCommerce email. There is an element called Woo email element. If you drag that on, it'll complain because we haven't selected a template. I need to fix that. So once you select one, it will come through. So if I select customer first name, for example, or name rather, it will show the dummy data. And then you can style that if you want. You can also use the shortcodes if you don't want to use this element. But one of the good things about the element is it has in the order items table, so you can choose that. And it will show you some dummy data again. Obviously, this will be replaced by actual data when the email comes. And we've got some options for this, so we can choose to show the image of the product. We can set the size of that image like that. And we've got some design stuff as well for the table, like we can set the header color and things like that. You know, if you want to make it look a bit fancier, but in the same way as the other one. So if I add some text to this, I can use those shortcodes that are detailed in the page. Let me just go back and get one. So while that's loading, if I was to type in here order number, that's the shortcode for order number. It doesn't show it in here, but in the actual email that would be replaced by the order number. So you can use those in the text and stuff like that. But this works in exactly the same way. You design your template, you save it, you come back out, and then you can preview it as well if we go back to the home page of the emails. So if I just click preview on that, you'll see there it's showing the dummy order number that we put in. We've got our nice table designed here, and this is how now the processing email will look when it goes to the customer. And obviously you can add as much as you want to that. And there's all the details of those shortcodes I was talking about. So you can either use the element or you can use those within the text element, and they will be replaced in the email that sends. And like I said, if you don't have one set for a particular email type, it will just default to the WooCommerce one. So don't forget to go into your settings in WooCommerce and add your colors and logos for that in case you don't add them all using this. But I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoy that, and just let me know how you get on with it.